everybody, Rich Boesel here, heading up to one of my favorite delayed harvest rivers here in North Carolina. I'm going to be trying out my new rod. It's a Moonshine Epiphany 2-weight 10-foot, kind of what it looks like in the little box. I looked at this last night when I got it, and it looks pretty well made. A few things I just wanted to show everybody. So this is kind of the rod coming out of the box. It's a down locking reel seat. Got a nice cork. The finish looks really good. It has a keeper for your fly, which is nice. The first stripper guide is looks about 2 feet up, which it would have been nicer to be a little bit shorter, but you know, for this price rod, that's okay. The second guide is also a single foot guide, and then they go to snake guides for the rest of the rod, which, you know, the higher end rods usually have single foot guides, which I think have been shown to decrease friction a little bit more, but you know, for this price rod, I think that's good. There are no alignment dots, which are nice to have, but not a deal breaker. So I put on this is again a 2-weight rod, and I put on a 3/4 reel, fully loaded, and you can see the balance point here is just a little bit above the cork, which is not ideal. So I actually need a heavier reel or a bigger reel. 5/6 maybe would work, because I like that balance point to be a little bit further down. So I put on a bigger reel. This is actually a spare reel that I have. It's probably somewhere like a 6-weight reel. And now the balance point is about right. Again, this is going to be fully loaded and unstrung. So when you string it, it's going to bring a little bit more weight forward. But again, most of that's just going to be that monofilament on this Euronymphing rod, so it doesn't really weigh that much. So I think that, you know, this size reel for this rod is going to be more appropriate, probably in that 6-weight range, just for the length of the rod, and it probably indicates that it's a little bit on the heavy side. The tip, you know, it's a kind of a mid-flex rod. It's got a little bit of slow recovery. You know, once you flip in, you like that to stop pretty quickly, so it's a little bit wiggly. But again, once we get our line on there, we'll kind of see how that performs actually on the water. The case, of course, you know, is a nice corduroy case. It's got segmented areas in it, and then the really nice thing that they do at Moonshine is they give you a spare tip, which is absolutely fantastic to have. I like having that spare tip just for those events that occur when you're out on the river, and you can always come back and get that repaired really quickly and save your trip. What I'm going to be experimenting with today also is going with Lance Egan's suggestion to try and drop down to some micro leaders. So I've been fishing, you know, my indicator has been a 12-pound test indicator. So I'm going to be using as my leader material some Maximum Camellia 8-pound, and then matching that with some 8-pound indicator mono from Cortland, setting that up, and then dropping my tippet off that. See how that performs on this 2-weight reel rod. Okay, so we're all rigged up and heading off. So as I mentioned, this is one of the typical delayed harvest rivers here in North Carolina. Pretty busy on a weekend. This is a Saturday in November. We actually just had some huge floods here a couple weeks ago. Actually, excuse me, a couple days ago. and probably within 20 miles of here, some people were killed at a campground. So the river, I looked at it, looked pretty good. The water's up a little bit, but I'm going to try and get away from where everybody else is fishing and hike here down to a section of river that isn't really on the delayed harvest stocking schedule, but it's downriver from where they stock, so hopefully there's some fish that have moved down over the past few weeks. And I don't think very many people, if any, fish down here, so we'll see how this goes. As I mentioned, I hooked up this micro leader. I did to my fly line, I did a needle knot. And if you don't know how to do a needle knot, you can look it up online. It's really a nice knot. It's better than a blood knot for Euronymphing because it creates almost no bump as the line goes through the guides. And you know, I've got about 20 feet of the chameleon line before my sighter, so I don't really get into my fly line very much, other than if you get a big fish and it runs, you know, then you're having to deal with that line going through all the eyes. So that connection was a needle knot, and then to connect my chameleon to my sighter, I used just a plain blood knot, and then down to a tippet ring. So, you know, hopefully that'll all be pretty slick. And then I have a hard time seeing orange, so on my other setup I had a two-tone sighter, yellow and orange. This time I just went with straight yellow because I tend to see that better. I also got this new wax thing that I'm going to try out, where you can actually add this bright yellow wax-like material if you have a hard time seeing. So I got that with me too. I haven't tried it yet. We'll maybe give it a try today. And then later on today, I'll get out my other rod, which is the Echo Shadow X 10.5 foot rod. It's a 3-weight, and compare that to this 2-weight. So actually, for these delayed harvest rivers, I was just looking for something a little bit shorter and lighter, and I'm hoping this Moonshine rod fits the bill. So you can see here the water actually looks pretty good, a little bit high given the amount of rain that we have, so it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but the water's reasonably clear, so this is going to be fishable, and hopefully we'll be able to pick up a few fish. We'll see how this goes. And here we're drifting along. There's a fish. First fish on the Moonshine rod. Nice little brown. Get him in here. Pretty brown. Nice little brown trout. Let him go. Thank you. All right, so I fished this now for a few minutes, and so far it's pretty good. The recovery is not bad. Once you actually drop it in the water and you got line out and you got the leader running, it's actually not bad in that respect. I picked up that fish right off that rock there. Really weird currents too with all this water. The hydraulics are incredible. That's not good. Whoa, look at this brown. Holy crap.
Did you see him swim by? Boy, I don't know if I want to catch that fish on this setup. Holy crap, was that a big brown. Why do they entice me like that all the time? Alright, so after seeing that big brown, I put on the jig streamer. And boy, I don't know if I could even land him if I had this on this 2-weight, but I don't have any other options right now. I gotta try it. Let's see what happens. Why do these browns do this to me? Do they do this to anybody else? I don't think so. I think it's just me. There's a fish. It's not the brown, but I mean, it's not the big brown, but it's a fish. Actually, I think I got him foul hooked though. But he went for it. It's a good sign anyway. He probably went for it and missed it and got it in the tail. He was right over by that log over there. But that's not the big brown. Where is the big brown? Well, it's not the brown, but it's a good fish though. Rainbow took that. Hammered it. Took it on the swing. Come on, big brown. There's another fish. Again, not the one I'm looking for, but I'll take it. You do seem to be liking this jig streamer, man. Might have to keep fishing that this afternoon. With this high water, maybe that makes more sense. At least the rainbows are liking it. Well, that one brown went after it too. Oh, there we go. All right. Boy, those rainbows are sitting in the back of the pool down there. They're probably afraid of that big brown. Another one on the jig streamer. Caught it in the back of that little pool over there. So we're starting to get our numbers up now. Oh, there's a brookie. Alright, so now we're probably getting up into the stockfish. Those fish don't normally stay down here. But I'll tell you, where there's one brook trout, there's more. That one was right over in that little hollow spot. There's a fish. Nice. Like I said, where there's one brook trout, there's more. Oh, he's off. Thank you. A gentleman's release. But that's a good sign, though. Let's see if we can get another one in there. Those little twitches are me just working that fly up and down a little bit. Alright, this is another little likely place, huh? Let's see if we can get a few casts in here. See what happens. Oh, there's a fish. Nice. A little jumper. Great. Great, great, great. So it's hard to rate the sensitivity of the rod, but I mean I can feel these strikes pretty well. But again, you're jigging, so it's a little bit different than when you're, you know, nymphing, purely nymphing. Again, turn the camera off and immediately catch one. Fish is not happy. Nice little rainbow. Right where I thought he would be. Cast behind that log. One, two, right behind that log. Another nice little rainbow. Like that little jig fly, I'll tell you. One more. So with the rod, there's great accuracy, and with that ultralight leader, I really can put it right where I want it. In front of the log a little bit. There's a fish. Nice. See if we can get one more. They seem to be stacked in there a little bit. Oh, I missed him. There's one. Nicely done. Late afternoon, they really do like this jig fly. There's no doubt about it. Again, nice action. Can really control it pretty well. Oh, that was a fish. God dang it, missed it. Fish. Hit it on the swing. Nice little rainbow. Right back over there by that rock, right where I thought it would be. As soon as it swung up, that's when he took it. They really like this jig fly on the swing. I tell you, that's just been very good tonight. Ah, bad cast. Alright, let's try it again. See that? You just turn it over, give it a little twitch, and bam! Now the only thing with this micro leader is that it's a little bit hard stripping it in because you don't have much to pinch against the cork. But no complaints. No complaints otherwise. Oh, come on. They're just touching it. Oh God, I turned him. There's of fish. Nice little rainbow.
Alright, so finishing up the day. Overall impression, you know, the conditions today were really tough. The water was really high, I think, and that's changed the normal pattern for the fish, and what we normally use here that works pretty well really wasn't working very well. So I had to switch to that little Egan jig fly, and that really worked very well, but it doesn't really give you that much appreciation for how well the rod seems to perform. So we might have to get it out again on a more normal day and maybe compare it directly side by side with my Shadow X. My general sense is that it obviously is a 2-weight versus a 3-weight, which changes a lot of the dynamics of the rod. The build is good, the accuracy is good, the reflex of the rod once it hits the water, you know, it's pretty stable after a very, very short period of time. I don't think I missed fish because of that. I don't think the sensitivity is quite as good as with the Shadow X. The strikes just kind of felt heavy to me. They didn't really have that kind of pitter-patter, tap-tap kind of sensation that I get off the Shadow X. But again, you know, much deeper water, faster water today. Plus I'm using this new micro leader, which, you know, obviously changes things. Now, I do like the micro leader. I think that made a difference today. I was able to fish a little bit farther away, and I think that's something that I will adopt no matter what. Anyway, it was a beautiful afternoon, heading home. Looking forward to some dinner, and I'll write this up when I get home.